clock is ticking. It's time for KVNU Game Day. Sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Castelite, and LSS Insurance. Now, to break down the game, here's the longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
Well, you've heard the saying before, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, 2 weeks ago, the Utah State Aggies did exactly that. And not at all expected spot in the Mountain West Championship game, first off. And then they devoured San Diego State in the most lopsided final the conference has ever seen. Again, the results surprised all of us, but not the Aggie team. Quarterback Logan Bonner.
Not at all. We planned on coming here and playing our best ball. We know when we play our best ball and be physical in every phase and be explosive, we know we can compete with anybody in the country. I even told you this week we felt disrespected this whole year, and we definitely felt disrespected coming in this week. So we just played with a chip on our shoulder and got it done.
And that was the prize from the start of the winter workouts with new coach Blake Anderson for these guys. Utah State achieved and did it. All of that lifting and practicing and running and studying and executing was done, except you win the Mountain West title, you get an automatic bowl spot. And this is the new LA Bowl. Couldn't happen last season with the COVID situation. So this is the first ever Mountain West spot in the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stiefel, and it belongs to our Utah State Aggies. You know, it's kind of like a star finished a great show, and then they're called out for an encore. This Utah State football team today needs to show that they were the star this year and walk off with accolades galore. But, of course, most importantly, you know that you finished off one other football game. Here's the coach.
I'd love to see our guys finish off with this one. It would be an unbelievable legacy to leave behind for this senior class and really just this team in general, considering last year and just all that happened. I know we've documented and talked about that a good bit. To be able to really just kind of get back on track and overcome the odds all season long, all the way even into and through the championship game, this would be no different. But 11-3 with the conference title, with 2 Power 5 wins in this particular season, considering all the things that carried into it, would be unbelievable.
You think so? I think it would be. So tonight, Utah State is playing Oregon State in the inaugural bowl. It's ABC National Television, Channel 4, after this BYU and UAB game that is on this afternoon. And it's a spot, you know what, they've been there before. The Aggies are the underdogs in this game. The Oregon State Beavers, out of the Pac-12, are a 7-point favorite. And again, their coach, Jonathan Smith, realizes, though, this is the first time they've been to a bowl game in 8 years.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an amount of pride, especially for the older group that have been around here for a while, to accomplish the initial goal of playing in postseason. Hadn't happened for quite a while, and so guys are taking some pride in that. Ultimately, no, you want to get to the game, but give you a chance to win it if you prepare well, and we're going to need to against a big-time opponent that's won a bunch of games this year in a league that has been impressive throughout, some good football teams, and so there's some pride for that in regards to these seniors, but they know they got way more work to do.
So, hi, everybody. Al Lewis here, and we are so happy for the Aggies for this 2021 football season, and we want to celebrate them with you today and also, get you up to speed on the Oregon State Beavers for this, again, LA Bowl that's coming up here within 2 hours. We have extended our KVNU game day today, always letting you on local radio easily hear about your favorite team and its players and coaches. And, again, after each football and basketball game, we are here. And, of course, there is Hoops has an interesting game coming up on their non-conference schedule later tonight. They're playing Iowa at that Stanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The game will be 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network tonight. And we won't do a complete game day or something for basketball, but we'll talk about that. We will return Tuesday night as they finish off their preseason against Portland State in the Spectrum. But the Aggies, if they win the basketball game tonight, we can make that a part of our post-game Aggie call, post-game. But Big Ten Network for that game at 7. Football games, again, against Oregon State coming up here Again, that will be on ABC Channel 4. So it's football that we're going to preview. Craig Hislop, Ryan Boehm, Eric Franson will join with me as well. So let's get our preview rolling. And tonight's game will certainly cap a season, Craig, that we did not probably feel like was coming up.
Well, you reflect back to what happened in 2020, a 1-5 season. The architect of the Aggies' earlier success, Gary Anderson, comes back for a second term as head coach and is fired in his second year of that second term. So here's Frank Miley becoming the interim head coach, supported by the players, same players who later in the year refused to get on the team charter to play the final game of the year at Colorado State. Then, not too many days after all of that happened, John Hartwell hires Arkansas State head coach Blake Anderson. He assembles a brand new young staff of assistant coaches. That group goes to work. They talk some apparently departing players into recommitting to the Aggie program. And then the Aggie staff zeroes in on recruits who have announced that they are leaving their current schools. And USU gets into the business of convincing some of them from these well-respected national winning football powers to move to Logan, Utah to play football and to attend school. For those close to the Aggie program who took note of the quality of those signees, maybe that might have been the first sign that there's something going on there that's kind of unique at Utah State. The next step was the off-season strength and training and conditioning program directed by Paul Jackson, who left the staff at South Carolina to take over USU's strength program. And Blake Anderson, since the early days, has credited Coach Jackson for the improvements in conditioning and in team bonding that gave early direction to the Aggie team and what it's become now. And finally, then, getting into the season, first event that turned the heads, obviously the Aggies win at Washington State in what became the first of 6 comeback victories for this program. The momentum was interrupted a little bit by the losses to BYU and Boise State, but then 5 straight wins followed. And then Game 11. Final home game, 44-17 beat down administered by Wyoming, which Blake Anderson admitted taught his team some things about itself that they needed to know in order to do the same thing in the league championship game at San Diego State, and they did it, 46-13, beating San Diego State. So there is a version of how a college football team goes from 1 victory to 10 of them in a season. Second best turnaround in college football this year, as the Aggies became one of 4 schools in the history of the college football game to go from either 0 or 1 win to 10 wins in the space of a season. And don't forget, a remarkable 7 wins and no losses on the road in this season we just went through. And finally, a chance to tie the school record of 11 victories in a season accomplished by the 2012 and 2018 teams. And they'll do that if they win this thing today.
And, you know, you got a guy like Devin Tompkins was a guy who did come back after it looked like he was going to leave. And now he says...
it was a dream come true, man. I mean, this season just really, it's been like, the whole way has been like a dream, you know, and it just feels like at the bowl game right now, it feels like I'm waking up from the dream, you know, actually winning 10 games, winning a championship, and now being in the LA Bowl, you know, this being the first time this bowl has been played. It's an honor to be here. You know, we get to set the bar for all the years to come for this bowl game.
So to do that, set the bar, Craig, they do have to buck a little bit of history today in beating the Oregon State Beavers.
Well, you're talking about the Aggies' 3-game history against the Beavers. All of those are losses. And one of those was in the 1997 bowl-bound Aggies under John L. Smith, losing their 6th game of that season, 24-16 in Corvallis, but then winning 4 straight after that, including beating Boise State, by the way, to earn a bid to the Humanitarian Bowl. Also USU 0-7 when you look at all-time games against these Oregon schools, because they are 0-4 against the Ducks. Utah State's program has made bowl trips more commonplace in recent years, and yet only 1 win to show for the last 4 bowl games they've played in. And Blake Anderson, coaching at Arkansas State, had a 2-4 record in bowl game history there.
But the Aggies did win the championship, their first ever Mountain West title, their first outright title since 2012. And again, their first time they've won it in a championship game, 46-13 over San Diego State, to get this automatic spot in the first ever Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. I'll tell you what, Jonathan Smith at Oregon State's impressed.
Well, San Diego State's beaten a lot of people, and so that was impressive just in that regard. And the way they really won that game in all 3 phases, created some issues. Special teams made 2 huge plays, blocking punts. And like I say, they can score in bunches. And San Diego State's pretty good on defense now, really both sides. So it was impressive.
And again, that was Coach Smith there. The Beavers are so excited to be in their first bowl game in 8 years. And Craig, Oregon State's favored.
Yeah, the last line I saw by 7. They fought their way through this 7-5 season, 5-4 in the Pac-12 games. Obviously, the most impressive win is when they got the Utes in Corvallis, October 23rd, 42-34. And here's how close they got to playing in the Pac-12 championship game. Had they beaten Oregon in their last game, they fell short 38-29, but had they done that and Washington State had lost to Washington, well, then the Beavers would be playing in the league championship game against Utah. That's how close it was. And you could probably surmise that Oregon State's motivation is to finish off their season the right way, given that their last loss was to their rival Ducks, just by winning today. While Utah State's goal back when this all started was to win a championship, which they did 2 weeks ago. So now the Aggies can play to validate that what they did in winning their league title was the real thing, prove that that one when they already had against the Pac-12 team, Washington State, we talked about, that wasn't a fluke, and then just go out the right way by winning 11 and tying the school record we talked about.
So will it be enough of a motivation for the Aggies today? Because Coach Blake Anderson says they better be ready.
Present some challenges to our defense a little differently than what they've seen. These guys are really, really good at spreading the ball out and throwing it. One of the best backs in the country. And just for our offense, the size matchups, as we've talked about at some point during the season, will be things that we really have to use speed and quickness to overcome.
So why don't you run down some of those standouts that play for Oregon State that we'll hear about today, Craig?
Well, they placed 3 of them on the All Pac-12 first team. The running back DJ Baylor, their center Nathan Eldridge, and their linebacker Avery Roberts. Word has been that Roberts is opting out, however. Apparently he needs some minor surgery in order to be ready for his pro day. He did accumulate 128 tackles, 21 against the Utes. So apparently he's not available for this game. Now, their offensive line is a real strength of this team. The Beavers' offensive front was a semifinalist for the National Joe Moore Award as the top offensive line in the college football with Michigan, Kentucky, and Air Force, and they haven't announced that yet. I think that comes up in late December. DJ Baylor, 1,250 yards rushing this year, 4th in the league, 152 yards against Utah. Chance Nolan is the quarterback, threw for 308 yards in their finale against Oregon. Trayvon Bradford, their best receiver, 40 catches, 5 scoring receptions. Now, their offense is 35th nationally in scoring, 43rd in total offense, 12th in rushing, 85th in passing. Defensively, they rank 65th in points allowed, 76th overall in total defensive yardage allowed, 57th against the run, 87th nationally against the pass. Not sensational defensive stats, but not bad. And there are those who would tell you that from the time that they made a change and installed their linebackers coach Trent Bray as defensive coordinator, they became a better team on that side of the ball.
And he officially got the job this week. So a highlight for the Aggies, though, all year long, although, of course, we've seen some terrific offensive plays, but on defense, tackles for a loss, 4th in the nation in that department. Oregon State is 6th in the nation in not allowing tackles for a loss. I think they're 4th in sacks allowed. Nick Henniger?
You can't be hungry for your TFL. You got to be starving, and this team is starving for TFL, starving for a win.
Starving for it. They've got to do that because can the Aggies wreak any havoc in those areas and slow down the Beavers, again, somewhat on their offensive side? Because the numbers show, Craig, we should be able to, like you just talked about, move the ball in this game.
Well, the Aggies are 20th in the nation in total offense. Logan Bonner is just like 8 yards away from the best season by an individual passer the Aggies have ever had. That's the Jordan Love's record right now. He needs 363 yards, Bonner does, of total offense to surpass Chucky Keaton, Coach Keaton now. Record for total offense and already holds the passing record. So we learned this week Devin Tompkins earns 3rd-team All-American. He owns the school record for receiving yards, 1,589. He's caught 95 balls this year, so he's 5 catches away from the record for the number of catches held by Kevin Curtis. And so those 5 would put him, I think, at 101. This group of receivers is really interesting with Brandon Bowling and Derek Wright. 3 guys with at least 9 touchdown catches. There's no other college team that has that going for them in their receivers. Now, how about a built-in motivation for this game for Calvin Tyler Jr., because he played his college career at Oregon State until this year.
Recruited by Gary's staff to go to Oregon State.
That's a great story. So he transfers to Utah State. On the Aggie side of things, defensively, linebacker Justin Rice's numbers are by far the top tackler, and a wide margin. He had 115 tackles this year. One of the leaders, not the leader, but he had 13 and a half tackles for loss. We talked about that just a moment ago. Now, last game out, the Aggies allowed just 315 total yards and 2 big plays against San Diego State. At the time, Oregon State has compiled over their season 56 explosive plays of 20 yards or more, which is unbelievable. So the Aggies also recovered 2 fumbles in that San Diego State game. And talk about special teams against the nation's number 1 punter, Matt Ariza. The Aggies blocked 2 of his punts in that game. He still went on to become the Ray Guy winner. Against San Diego State, the Aggies had the upper hand in all those special teams, too. And considering that they won all 3 phases of the game against the Aztecs, you'd probably expect to get a win in this game today. They probably have to do exactly the same thing against Oregon State.
And it will not, again, be an easy deal. But the offensive coordinator, Brian Lindgren, has this to say about the Aggies.
Aggressiveness of the defense, I think, is something that stands out to me. Just the way that the defensive line really gets up the field. They have some movements, bring a lot of pressure in certain situations, and that'll be a big challenge for us.
And so we will have Craig join with us and talk about the bowls for these teams in a few minutes as we continue. Of course, overshadowing the game, Coach Blake Anderson having to apologize for telling his players, quote, has never been more glamorized to be a victim of sexual assault. The apology was made Friday morning after the release of that audio recording that came out. I regret I used the words I used. I apologize to anyone who has bravely come forward with allegations of wrongdoing. We have to do everything we can to encourage and protect everyone who has been the victim of the wrong and whose personal rights have been violated. Coach Anderson says, anyone who knows me knows how strongly I feel about this. Giving victims a safe platform to address wrongs they've suffered is always the right thing to do, something I will stand for. And Anderson says his message to the team to always do the right thing warrants repeating whatever the opportunity presents itself. In the course of that conversation, I used a phrase regarding victims of wrongdoing to magnify the message to the team, but after reading my comments in the transcript that was released, I realized my choice of words was hurtful. Because this year has been nothing but hurtful, as we're going to hear later on from Coach Anderson.
Move here, unexpected as it was, but man, just so refreshing. I needed to be able to move away from so many visible triggers and smells and sights and sounds that just would not let you move beyond.
That's after he lost his wife when he was the coach at Arkansas State. And we also have comments from the MVPs of the Mountain West Championship coming up for you. Of course, Logan Bonner is one of those guys.
So everybody in this organization deserves everything that we've gotten, and we're looking forward to the next one.
And defensive end Byron Vaughn's coming up. We'll have a good look inside the Pac-12 Oregon State Beavers. Our game day gets started, brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. Remember, they have York, they have Carrier, some great names of furnaces right now. It's cold, 9 this morning? As cold as it is, get with Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, 752-7272. And also, of course, remember, they can also handle your needs as far as your fireplace needs go. Advanced Fireplace and Stove. Game day on KVNU.
Happy holidays from the entire team at Ascent Aesthetics. Each Monday, Ascent Aesthetics will release amazing gift ideas and packages. These packages are only valid for 2 business weeks and can be found on Facebook. Follow Ascent Aesthetics at ascent.aesthetics. Again, these amazing packages can only be found on Facebook at ascent.aesthetics and are only good for a limited time. Give the perfect gift this year, a treatment from Ascent Aesthetics. Learn more at ascentaesthetics.com or follow on Facebook.
The holidays bring family, friends, and parties and more. How important is it to you to know that your house is sparkling clean this holiday season? Trust ChemDry of Northern Utah's hot carbonating extraction process to ensure your home is the cleanest, healthiest environment for your family gatherings this season. From carpets to hardwood floors to furniture and even granite countertops for baking. This is Darryl with ChemDry of Northern Utah. Holiday gift certificates are now available, and mention this ad for a free ChemDry world famous spot cleaner.
Of Northern Utah. 752-6100.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's Fireplace category help you update your home with Heat and Glow's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Heat and Glow has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Don't wait. Plan your New Year's Eve celebration now. There's no better way to get the night rolling than at the Riverwoods Conference Center's wonderful buffet catered by Elements Restaurant. The night kicks off at 5 p.m. for you early birds. Reservations are being accepted from 5 until 9 p.m. for those that plan to keep the night rocking with appetizers, salads, slow-roasted prime rib, seafood, shrimp cocktail, and decadent dessert. Sure to crave any sweet tooth. Start your New Year's off in style with family and friends at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Call ahead for reservations 750-5151. That's 750-5151.
More analysis and more previews of today's game. It's KVNU Game Day.
It's been awesome. This will actually be my third one. So, super excited to go out there and play and represent the Beavers.
Nathan Eldridge, Oregon State starting offensive center the past 2 years. He's part of what's called one of the 4 best offensive lines in college football. He was in a bowl previously with Arizona. He goes way back to 2016 in college football. So he's been to bowls before, but not many of the Beavers have. They went 7-5, and they were the Pac-12 invite to play our Aggies today in this LA Bowl. It is, of course, again, now this site, Super Bowl 56 on Sunday, February the 6th of 2012 will be at this SoFi Stadium. And now the Aggies are a part of the first college game there, and defensive coordinator Ephraim Bonda was really happy, excited about it.
It's overwhelming. It's beautiful, and we're looking forward to being the first college football team in there. I know that 10, 20 years from now will be some type of trivia question. I'll have the answer for it.
So. Yeah, that's right, he will. Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, presented by Stiefel, is the official name of this bowl game. It was supposed to begin last season, the Mountain West champion against a Pac-12 team. Jason Gannon is the executive director for the Stan Kroenke Group, who built SoFi Stadium, and they're the ones who own the Rams.
And, whenever we thought about really setting out for a bowl game, a college football game at SoFi Stadium, we really wanted to embrace a couple things, certainly Los Angeles, and it's such a great sports community and a sports region. And so as we thought about, what's more Los Angeles than adding an entertainment component to the game as well. And, Jimmy Kimmel's a big college football fan and kind of historically has really been interested in sports. And so as we thought about combining really what is really an incredible stadium game day experience on the sports side with Los Angeles entertainment, Jimmy Kimmel was really the first partner that came to mind.
But why inside SoFi Stadium? You already got 2 NFL teams. Do you want to have a college game or a bowl game?
But I think, for us, to bring college football to Los Angeles through this event was really important. I mean, I touched on it early. I think, Southern California is such a great, rich college football tradition and history here, and to really be able to embrace that and put a little bit of a spin on it, certainly with the entertainment and the Jimmy Kimmel component was important for us.
So this week, besides morning football practices on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, both teams had Universal Studios and the beach and Jimmy Kimmel Live. And I asked before they went to Los Angeles if our quarterback, Logan Bonner, had watched and Kimmel's the longest-running late-night host now. The name of this bowl. Has he watched him on TV?
I've seen it a few times. I'm not from the West Coast, so it's hard to watch everything. But no, I've seen it a few times. I'd be really excited. A cool experience to see.
Well, how about Wednesday? He's the first Aggie featured in the ABC late night show, Logan Bonner, as one of the Aggie stand-up comedians. If you watched or you didn't see it on social media, here's an excerpt from Jimmy Kimmel Live on ABC Wednesday night.
At the start of college football, broadcast, they have the players introduce themselves, maybe share a fun fact about their lives. Well, we've decided to do that too. And with that said, please welcome your 2021 Utah State Aggies, gentlemen.
Logan Bonner, quarterback. I built myself a girlfriend out of Legos. Then she dumped me.
Justin Rice, inside linebacker. I love the smell of kittens.
Savon Scarver, wide receiver. I'm missing my holiday bacon shows for this.
Cash Gilliam, striker. I let the dogs out. Sorry, Baja, man.
Marcus Moore, defensive tackle. My dream is to open the first Dave & Buster's in space. Derek Wright, wide receiver. I have no idea what an Aggie is. Nobody does.
And Kimmel, so 6 Aggies there. Oregon State got a chance to do the same thing. Kimmel made a comment or two about Logan and Aggies and the bowl. He shared the huge wrestling-type belt trophy that I'm guessing he will present to the winning team after the game tonight. You heard there from Justin Rice in there. He's one of the Utah State guys featured as the stand-up comedians. I asked him also Monday about, before they left the Valley, about going to Tinseltown and being around this bowl game.
Give us your background in bowl games and your experiences where you've been with the teams you've been with.
I went to 2 bowl games while I was at Fresno. We went to the Hawaii Bowl and then the Vegas Bowl. Had a lot of fun. And I know we're going to have a lot of fun going to LA Bowl with this group.
I asked Logan if he liked Jimmy Kimmel or watched his show much. Do you watch the Jimmy Kimmel show, or have you ever watched that very much?
I don't think I've ever watched it, no, but I know who he is.
He knows who he is, never watched it. Now he's been on the show. How about that for a record for Justin Rice? His experience in the bowls, of course. We have 10 again, I think it is Utah State players who are bowl starters the last time we were in a bowl game, or have been, compared to Oregon State's first bowl game in 8 years. Alfred Edwards has started the 2 previous bowl games at left tackle for the Aggies. 13 players have been in more than one bowl. Rice, Nick Henniger, Kevin Metzenheimer, Savon Scarver, Carson Terrell, and Jordan Nathan have all been in 3 bowls before. 28 have been at least one bowl. The last one, of course, for the Aggies was that Frisco Bowl in 2019. So let's get the bowl history going again. Bring back historian Craig Hislop.
Well, when you look at the bowl history of these 2 schools, it's not that different one to the other. This is the 15th bowl game the Aggies have ever played in. They're 5-9 in the previous 14. And in 17 bowl games to date, Oregon State is 11-6. So the difference there is Oregon State has a winning record in bowl games. The Aggies do not. This is the Aggies' 9th bowl game the last 11 years, which is a stark contrast to the first 119 football seasons at Utah State, in which the Aggies played in just 6 bowl games. But since 2011, beginning with Gary Anderson, it's become kind of a yearly habit. Anyway, for the Aggies, it started with the 1946 Raisin Bowl. It shutout loss to San Jose State. Aggies lost in the 47 Grape Bowl to Pacific, and then in the 1960 Sun Bowl, New Mexico State quarterback Charlie Johnson beat Merlin Olsen's Aggies. Then the 61 Gotham Bowl in New York City was a loss to Baylor. 32 years after that game in New York City, after the Gotham Bowl, the Aggies beat Ball State in the 1993 Las Vegas Bowl, and then lost to Cincinnati in the 97 Humanitarian Bowl, lost by a point to Ohio in the 2011 Potato Bowl, beat Toledo playing in the 2012 Potato Bowl. 2013, they went to the Poinsettia Bowl and beat number 24 Northern Illinois. 2014 was a win over UTEP in the New Mexico Bowl. Went back to the Potato Bowl in 2015, losing to Akron. Lost in overtime to New Mexico State in Tucson in the 2017 Tucson Bowl there. Then beat North Texas 2018 New Mexico Bowl. Lost to Kent State in the 2019 Frisco Bowl. And, of course, there was no bowl game last year for Utah State. Now, Oregon State's most recent bowl appearance was 2013, but they did beat Boise State in that game in the Hawaii Bowl. Oregon State is making its 18th all-time appearance in a bowl, and their 12th since the 1999 season. The Beavers won 5 consecutive bowl games from 2003 to 2008, and it won't surprise fans to find out that all of those were coached by Mike Riley, who had a terrific record at Oregon State. Now, their current head coach, Jonathan Smith, was the offensive MVP player in the 2001 Fiesta Bowl. He passed for 305 yards, 3 touchdowns in Oregon State's 41-9 win over Notre Dame. So in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, they appeared in 3 Rose Bowls, 2 Pineapple Bowls, and the Liberty Bowl. The Beavers returned to bowl participation in 1999, got into 12 bowls the next 22 years. They did beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl I told you about in 2001 and the 2004 Insight Bowl.
Thank you very much, Craig, for that insight there. We've got our Know Your Aggies feature, and we're going to talk about the Beavers as we come back next. As we hit top of the hour, we've still got an hour and a half before the kickoff. Again, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stiefel, and the Aggies are playing Oregon State. And this is game day for you Aggie fans to get the rundown before the game on TV on KVNU.
Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Why do Santa and Mrs. Claus shop at Daryl's Appliance? It's easy. Daryl's has the best discounts on Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid laundry and kitchen appliances. Get the best price guaranteed. Don't forget our no-risk warranty and feel the Daryl's difference because service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
See Daryl's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
Covering all the news. Stay with 610 AM and 102.1 FM. Breaking news and stimulating talk. KVNU Logan.
Great gift ideas are at Jarek's Fine Jewelry for every budget. Pearl jewelry, sterling silver collections, watches, diamond and gemstone, earrings and rings, and the largest selection of engagement rings in northern Utah. With a gift from Jarek's this Christmas, whether you spend $5 or $5,000, the message is the same. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
What are you doing for your home medical supply needs? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. We sell the highest quality products in the industry, and your shopping experience with us will be unmatched. Get out and enjoy freedom with one of our many different power chairs. We'll make sure you have the best experience possible and that you can bring wellness home.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Do you need a gift idea for someone special or yourself? How does $100 of free Botox sound? Cache Valley Endocrine and Family Medicine is certified in cosmetic Botox procedures. They're offering $100 of free Botox when you purchase a $500 gift card for cosmetic Botox. Cache Valley Endocrine and Family Medicine provides comfortable in-office services. They'll also come to your home for up to 5 people. Purchase your gift card at 2150 North Main, Suite 10 in North Logan. Call to schedule your Botox appointment today.
My name is John Brenchley. Last year, my father, Lynn, passed away. Our family misses him tremendously. From the first phone call we made to White Pine Funeral Services until he was laid to rest, White Pine helped us every step of the way. The staff was there to guide us through the entire process. They were kind, gracious, and their facilities are amazing. White Pine helped to make the difficult situation of losing my dad into a positive experience where we could remember him and celebrate his life.
White Pine Funeral Services. Here when you need us most.
Talking about Aggie football like no one else can. KVNU Game Day is back with a voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
Utah State again in the bowl game after missing last year, and it is the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl as Mountain West champions. What a performance that was 2 weeks ago. Need a similar game today for sure. We're brought to you by West Point Dairy. They're now hiring. Work for a company that's been in the Valley for 25 years. Competitive wages on entry-level positions starting at $18 an hour. You can call 213-9595 for more details about West Point Dairy. BYU and UAB, they have about 2 minutes and a half left in the third quarter. 24-21 is the score of that game for UAB. They have been beating BYU a lot of this game. BYU has fought back a couple of times, so to make it interesting. Fresno State did beat UTEP today, 31-24, so the conference 1-0. And also earlier today, how about the score? Western Kentucky 59, Appalachian State 38. It's first bowl loss ever for Appalachian State. Last night, Coastal Carolina beat Northern Illinois in the Cure Bowl. And in Middle Tennessee took Toledo 31-24 in the Bahamas Bowl. And you've still got 2 other games coming up tonight, just getting started, Eastern Michigan and Liberty in the Lending Tree Bowl. Eric Branson always gets a chance to spend time with Aggie football players. It's always interesting. We call it Know Your Aggies.
Okay, getting to know Byron Vaughns. There are no wrong answers, okay? These are just real random, just whatever comes to your mind, okay? What's on your playlist before game time?
G Herbo. G Herbo, a mixture of Kodak Black. A lot of Florida. I'm going to say Florida music because my roommates, Justin and DT, are from Florida. And 90% of the music in the house is Florida music. So from Florida to Texas music, any rapper.
Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Favorite ice cream flavor, by far cookies and cream. It's no competition. If you have something to say, you can come talk to me face to face and we'll have an eat-off of ice cream.
Are you an Apple guy or an Android guy?
Oh, Apple. I'm an Apple guy. I like FaceTime and not like Skyping or Zooming. Nothing against Androids, though. Nothing against them.
Would you rather do the laundry or do the dishes?
Oof. It depends. If we just had a family get together, I'm gonna do the laundry. But if it was just like 3 of us at dinner, I'll do the dishes.
So it's all about the workload.
It's all about the workload. Yes, sir.
Okay. Random question here: is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oof. Yes. I say it is because it's a bread, the meat, and the bread, and you can put the toppings in the middle. So I consider you can also rip the hot dog bun and make it a sandwich.
It sounds like a definition of a sandwich to me. Okay, last question for me is, what's your favorite snack?
White cheddar Cheez-Its. White cheddar Cheez-Its. Or extreme goldfish. Or whoever reads this, extreme goldfish for Christmas or cheddar cheese Cheez-Its.
All right, so you're looking for something for Byron. That's on the list.
Yes, sir. President Byron.
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
MVP of the bowl game, and Eric, we'll talk to him later on as part of our game day coverage, a little bit more about the MVP status of that San Diego State game. 4 of the last 5 opponents against the Aggies, 17 points or fewer, only Wyoming, and 6 of the last 8 have had 360 yards or less. You do that against Oregon State, you have a great chance to win this game today. Game day continues, brought to you by LSS Insurance. If you're feeling overwhelmed with Medicare rules and regulations, LSS will walk you through all the options, zero cost to you, getting you the right plan. So before you turn 65, get with them out, 2 or 3 months in advance, 752-9493. They bring you game day, and we continue. We'll talk Beaver football, Oregon State preview next.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Every great team knows that you have to train to stay on top of your game. Even top players continue to practice the fundamentals. That's why Les Olson Company offers free IT security awareness training so your business can stop threats before they become a problem. Learn what to do in case of a suspected phishing attack. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
Experts tell us that the 3 areas of balance for proper health are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. This is Ryan, owner of My Mattress, and while My Mattress store can't really help with exercise and nutrition, we can help with better sleep. If a person started today to live a balanced life in health, exercise, and sleep, 3 things might happen. 1, we might throw away the bag of peanut M&Ms that we have stashed. 2, we might get up off the couch and exercise. And 3, we'd come buy a new mattress here at My Mattress.
For 125 years, SC Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. People from St. George to Rexburg drive to Logan to shop Utah's oldest jewelry store. One major reason is price. When diamonds are compared up and down the Wasatch Front, SC Needham Jewelers is as low or lower than any store in the state. We compete with any 50 to 70% off sales, internet prices, or so-called wholesale prices. Recently voted as #1 jeweler in the best of northern Utah. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Open enrollment for individual health insurance is November 1st through January 15th. Coverage through the marketplace is still available with more tax credits, making it even more affordable. We'll help you navigate the marketplace, understand your plan options, and complete enrollment and save big. Trying it on your own can be frustrating. Let us help. Call 752-9493. There's no cost to work with us. Having a local agent makes all the difference. Call 752-9493.
The main thing is to win a game. And so prepping, doing a lot of that in the mornings, and then, having some good distractions after that.
That was Jonathan Smith, the fourth-year head coach at Oregon State, talking about his guys going to the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. He became the coach after Gary Anderson resigned in the 2017 season. He was, again, the Beavers quarterback for 39 games as a starter in his career. Mike Riley's teams in 1999 to 2001, and he was the quarterback on that 11-1 Fiesta Bowl team that got into the final six, and they again got that win against Notre Dame that year. He was an assistant coach at Oregon State, plus also has been at Idaho, Montana, Boise State, and was the Washington offensive coordinator before he goes back to Corvallis. First year was just 2-10, and then 5-7 before COVID. And then 7-5 this year, close losses to Washington State and Colorado. Could have been a lot better season, but 42-34 over Utah on October 23rd, that big win when the Beavers finally, again, proved they can be competitive this year in the Pac-12, and they get their first bowl game for these guys in 8 years.
Talked a little bit about it this morning, just kind of the last week, this current group together, and want to go out the right way. We got great leadership, and some of those guys will be departing. And so they got them locked in. I thought practice showed a little the leaders moving and starting fast.
Their outside make-it linebacker, number 2, is Anjay Hughes-Murray. He has been one of those builders of an era with Smith and getting competitive in the Pac-12.
These are kind of the games you live for. I've finally got to go to a bowl game after 6 seasons, and it's against a big-time opponent, and so I'm really excited about that.
His fellow linebacker, Avery Roberts, one of the country's best, is just out of the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl today after the Oregon game. Minor surgery needed to get ready for his pro day coming up. He had 128 tackles, an interception, 2.5 sacks, 9.5 tackles for loss. He's a good one. But the now official Beavers defensive coordinator is the linebacker coach, Trent Bray, and he can replace, he says, Roberts.
Yeah, that'll be anytime you don't have a great player like Avery on the field, it's something. But we feel great about Kyrie and what he's been able to do. And Kyrie came in Arizona State. Avery played about 10 plays is all. And then Kyrie did a great job. So we feel great about Kyrie. And Easton, he'll get an opportunity, really like Easton and his future. And so it'll be good for him to get some playing experience before he gets rolling, in the next couple of years.
Kyrie Fisher's number 10. And he's a junior. And Easton Massacaranis is a really highly touted freshman. He's number 56 playing for Oregon State. Before Bray took over the last 3 games as the coordinator, Jonathan Smith fired his defensive coordinator, Tim Tybersall, who, again, took those losses back-to-back to California and Colorado, and the defense wasn't good at all. It has worked, except against Oregon, 2 wins in the 3 games. Coach Blake Anderson says he sees this. Well, I asked this new defensive coordinator, okay, did you really make changes, or is it just that maybe the players felt like when you fired the DC, you're kind of calling them out as well?
It's both. I think we've done some different things, not wholesale changes, but within the structure of the defense and a couple little changes and wrinkles that I've brought, and Coach Lange and Coach Blue, that from our history as defensive coaches. And then, it's all about the players, and they've done a great job of buying in. We've simplified some things and just really focused on, okay, what do our guys do well? And let's have them do that. And so that's been the biggest focus is we're not going to do anything and ask them to do anything that they're not physically and mentally capable of doing. And that's a big focus for us, is put them in the best position to make plays and utilize their talents. Back
to that linebacker, Anjay Hughes-Murray. He told me Thursday about what he sees as he has studied Utah State's offense.
I always look forward to, a good challenge and stuff like that. And, Utah State's offense as a whole, they're a good offense. They're a high-powered offense. They can score points. And, this is a good football team that we're about to play. There's a reason why they're the Mountain West champions. I'm really excited for this whole deal. In order to kind of corral this offense, it's, we got to stop the run. We got to make this quarterback, feel pressure and be uncomfortable. And change up our coverage looks and things like that. But, most of all, we just got to go out there and do our job.
Beavers linebacker again, Anjay Hughes-Murray. Oregon State's strength is offense. Coach Smith is an offensive guy. Brian Lindgren is offensive coordinators known in the business. And our defensive coordinator, Ephraim Bonda, is really impressed when the Beavers have got the ball.
Bottom line is this is the best offense we're going to see all year. One of the best offenses in the country. Coach Smith and his staff have done a phenomenal job with that side of the ball. It's going to be a big, big challenge for us, the biggest challenge of the year. Obviously, I would say BYU is the other one that obviously they're doing a phenomenal job as well. But this team is extremely talented, very well coached, in my opinion, extremely well coached, especially up front. Do a great job, with their offensive line and tight ends, backs, quarterbacks, receivers, just timing. This is a very well-oiled machine on offense. It'll be a challenge for us, but we've been challenged all year, and we're looking forward to stepping up to it.
That's Ephraim Bonda, again, the Utah State defensive coordinator. Incidentally, speaking of BYU, they just took the lead 28-24 over UAB in the fourth quarter of that Independence Bowl game in the rain. Like Ephraim said, this offense is really, again, put together with the 5 offensive linemen and 2 tight ends up front. That's the real article here. It's an Oregon State experienced team up there, and that's a key to the whole team, according to Coach Jonathan Smith.
It's been solid for 4 years, and we had a guy or two down this year, but didn't feel like we missed a beat with the 6th or 7th guy up. Fortunate, but also the way they prepare, the way they work in the weight room, the way they eat, the training room, the coaching, strength staff, all of that combined.
They have a really good coach, and we'll talk more about him a little bit later on in our pregame as we go along. Their offensive line coach has had 19 1,000-yard rushers in his career, and they open holes for their one right now. B.J. Baylor, he's number 4, 14th best runner in the college football ranks, junior out of Texas. They protect their sophomore quarterback, number 10, Chance Nolan, very well. He's thrown for 2,414 yards, about 63.5%, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Beavers, listen to this, average 217 on the ground and 213 in the air. Sounds like, Coach, they're pretty balanced.
Yeah, I think they're extremely balanced. Their offensive line has the ability to do both, and they've done both. And I agree with him. I think he takes a very balanced approach. We try to do the same. That doesn't always mean 50-50 run pass, but they have run the ball well, and they can protect the quarterback. And as I mentioned, he is very, very good at hanging in the pocket. Feet are great, and he can make all the throws. So you have to defend them across the board. They don't just throw it to one guy. They don't just throw the ball. They don't just run the ball. They're very balanced in terms of who they get the ball to, and their run-pass ratio is very equal. And so, again, creates tremendous challenge for the defense.
And then back to coordinator Brian Lindgren. When he looks at Utah State's defense, he just sees the San Diego State game a couple of weeks ago.
Well, shoot, I don't know if it was anything different schematically in that game. It seemed like they were just had some success early, and they did a nice job in the red zone, preventing those guys from scoring points. But I think you could tell that those guys, like I said, they're really aggressive. And then just the confidence that I felt like when they were playing, enthusiasm kind of stood out to me, particularly in the second half. I think as they had some success and they kind of fed off each other, and but I don't think there was anything really different schematically than what they'd been doing throughout the season. They just executed at a really high level in that game.
Bottom line here, folks, Oregon State's more dynamic than San Diego State was on offense. So a tougher USU defensive assignment today. And on the flip side, the Beavers are not the Aztecs defense. And the Aggies just exploded for big plays. Oregon State known for offensive big plays themselves. So, again, that's kind of the matchup from the Oregon State side. Go to CashValleyENT.com for details about what they can do at Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat for adults and children in all areas. Allergy clinic, hearing aid center, accent aesthetics to go along with, of course, all the other work with your ear, nose, and throat. It's CashValleyENT.com. And we are going to talk about connections between Utah State and Oregon State into this game, and we'll do that next. And guess who has to be a part of that?
We just ready to get back to playing. Like I said, I wouldn't trade this team for nothing.
That is Calvin Tyler Jr., now with the Aggies, used to be with the Beavers. Game day continues on KVNU.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Big savings on top quality meat, produce, seafood, and deli. bakery fresh breads, cakes, and cookies made daily in store. Low prices on top quality national brands and thousands of our own private label. In every aisle, every department, every day.
Now open in Logan at 1341 North Main Street.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
What are you doing for your home medical supply needs? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. We sell the highest quality products in the industry, and your shopping experience with us will be unmatched. Get out and enjoy freedom with one of our many different power chairs. We'll make sure you have the best experience possible and that you can bring wellness home.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Steven, stop dragging your feet. Don't you give me that look. You've had a bad attitude all day. Now, look, I know you'd rather be with your friends right now, but this has to be done, and either you start cooperating or I'm going to start taking things away from you. And I think you know what that means, don't you, Steven?
Yes, honey, I do.
All right.
Okay.
Watch it.
Bigger isn't always better. At Cast-A-Lite, you'll choose from a huge selection of pavers and receive help from experts. You'll see just how easy it is to do it yourself. For brick, block, rock, paver, and tile, go where the pros go. Online at castalite.com.
Ladies, many of you will be fortunate enough to find a small but beautifully wrapped package under your tree with a brown satin ribbon and a box imprinted Jerix. The man who put it there is trying desperately to tell you that you are more precious than diamonds, more valuable than gold, and very, very special. Men who come to Jerix believe their wives deserve the best. And whether they spend $49 or $4,900, the message is the same. Men who come to Jerix are still very much in love. We just thought you should know. Jerix Fine Jewelry, 930 North Main in Logan.
KVNU Game Day returns with Al Lewis and Craig Hislop.
You know, I think they're expecting a big Iowa crowd there, and obviously we've got, you know, football engaged in a huge game, you know, in the bowl game. And so that's going to hurt our crowd. But, you know, we're not worried about that. It's another opportunity to play against a quality opponent and try to come out with a victory.
Hey, we throw a little curveball at you. We leave football. We go to basketball on our game day coverage of the Aggies on this Saturday because, yes, there is a big basketball game. And without the bowl game, this would be a huge one with a lot of attention. And it still should get our attention. You're going to have to flip back between the bowl game on Channel 4 and the Big Ten Network at 7 o'clock tonight as the Aggies play at the Sanford Pentagon, where they played last year in that preseason tournament. It's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They're playing Iowa. They brought Iowa in to play there the last couple of years, and a lot of fans come from Iowa up there to South Dakota to watch this game. This is the fourth time we've ever played Iowa. Iowa is 7-3. They have lost their last three games to good teams. They beat Virginia, though, at Virginia, and we know, of course, where the Aggies are. And, of course, the big deal is the health of the Aggie team. So we're going to preview that in this segment coming up. But let's turn our attention back to football. This week, Coach Anderson and his staff announced 14 players, 7 enrolling at Utah State in the spring semester of the early signing class. They did get 3 transfers among the team, a linebacker from Washington, a defensive back from Miami, and another linebacker from Arkansas State that they've known before. In state, there were 6 players from Utah. Really excited about the recruiting class the Aggies had this week. Also excited, has to be, for this game. Calvin Tyler Jr., 4 years at Corvallis. He played 14 games for Oregon State. So, Coach, can you pick his brain about what they're really trying to do?
Not any more than I can. I mean, we'll take every advantage we can get if there is such. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, just with in terms of his time there and how much he even knows, man. It'll be a challenge regardless. He can tell us everything he knows, and it still probably might not be enough. So, but we're going to try to find a way to win. So, Coach Smith, look out.
It's 14 games, like we said, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 3 catches while he was there, 9 kickoff returns for about a 20-yard average is what Calvin Tyler Jr. got. Let's talk connections between Oregon State, Utah State as we talk. That brought to you by Riverwoods Conference Center on our game day, the center in Cache Valley for business, entertainment, and small events and get your New Year's reservations for down at Elements and the Riverwood. Still remembered, Calvin Tyler is, by a lot of the Oregon State players. I had a chance to talk to that Anjay Hughes Murray, the linebacker, on Thursday.
You know, I've known Calvin for a long time. You know, I was here when he first, you know, came to college and stuff, and I think I'm really excited to play against him. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm playing against one of my really, really good friends. And so, you know, there's just some competition there and stuff. And, you know, he's a good player for him. And, you know, he's had a lot of success this year.
There will be probably some tackle opportunities for him against his friend for, again, that Anjay Hughes Murray against Calvin Tyler. I asked Devin Tompkins, though, to give us a chance to find out more about what he thinks of this guy who's had 764 yards, 6 touchdowns, played 11 of 13 games for the Aggies. Again, DT on Calvin Tyler Jr.
Yeah, Cal, man, he's great. You know, for starters, he's a really good dude to be around. You know, he's a fun guy to be around, cool guy to talk to. You know, and I mean, as a player, you know, he's been doing the thing. You know, he knows how to run the ball really good, and he's smart too when he's on the football field. He understands what's going on, and we're able to talk while we're on the field. You know, if I miss a block or something, or he saw a hole that he wanted to hit coming outside, he'll talk to me about it and things like that. So the ability to communicate with Cal it's been great to have him as a teammate.
After, again, the announcement and, again, the reaction of, okay, can Calvin Tyler help you? Coach Anderson got a chance to talk to, again, the guy going back against his old school, and here's what, again, the coach said.
I think he looks forward to the opportunity. He's got a lot of friends there, and maybe there's a chip on his shoulder to prove to those guys that they should have utilized him more when he was there. That'd be natural. But he doesn't come here with a ton of animosity against that group. I think he feels really good about his opportunity just here and what it's turned into be and what it can be in the future. And at the end of the day, we raised a trophy, and that's what he came here for.
He's one of 12 of those great, great transfers that have come here. He was with Chucky Keaton, who is his running back coach up at Oregon State. He is, again, a loved guy on the team. And, again, up there, he was liked by the Oregon State guys, as you can hear. He was behind this fellow Texan, B.J. Baylor, their running back. So he decided to transfer. And, again, like some of these transfers, they've just found that it's exactly what they wanted here in Logan.
Just got a group of guys that come together knowing we got a purpose, and we all know what we want, and that's to win a game, win a Mountain West championship, and whatever else after that. But I think these guys, man, I love these guys. I wouldn't trade this team for nothing. It's probably one of the best teams I ever been on.
So after being with the Beavers, Calvin Tyler Jr. with the Aggies, and has loved it. You know, Nick Henniger addressed this transfer deal. You know, he, of course, it's so amplified this season for the Aggies' success. Remember, he was a transfer from the University of Utah in 2019 when Gary Anderson came here to Logan, and this was interesting.
I think the mindset of a transfer is obviously they're transferring usually for an opportunity, right? And that means guys are really hungry. They weren't satisfied where they were at or whatever the situation may be, and we just have a bunch of guys that are willing to do what it takes to win. And when you have a bunch of guys that really love to win and will do what it takes to become champions like we did.
That's Nick Henniger. Again, he loved Gary Anderson. Now he loves this team and what Blake Anderson has done as well. On the topic of Gary Anderson, he was here in Logan from 2019 to 2012, and, of course, eventually was at Oregon State. 2015 went into part of 2017. And, of course, then he came back here after stopping in 17, coaching at Utah 1 year, then coming back here. Do we have this game today and the season we have had with Blake Anderson without what the first Coach Anderson even did and these past 5 years? I mean, without what Gary did, do we have this game today? I doubt it. Remember, Scott Barnes hired him to be, again, to start the guy to change the image of Utah State's football and get the progression going, and they did. Barnes, the athletic director at Oregon State, still, he was, again, he was here till 2015 in Logan. Chucky Keaton, we just mentioned him. Al Lapawahu, they were at Oregon State. Now they're back here as huge parts of this coaching staff at Utah State. Henley Bloomfield was an offensive lineman 2018 through 2020 at USU. Now he's transferred to Corvallis. He hasn't played there, but he played 16 games, had 4 starts here in Logan. Kyle Cefalo, an outstanding USU wide receiver coach this year, with Jonathan Smith when he was an assistant at Boise State in 2013. Ceflo went to Oregon State to play baseball in a scholarship. And then, of course, left that, went into football, went to Colorado. Now he's ended up here. But isn't it interesting how those two guys, again, were involved in the last bowl game for Oregon State? Yeah, because they lost to them at Boise State in the Hawaii Bowl. Interesting matchups in this, and we cannot forget the Aggie legend, player, former athletic director, great guy, Dave Cragthorpe. He was the Beavers coach from 85 to 90. This is the fourth ever game with Oregon State for the Aggies. Oregon State's won all three. First bowl game for Utah State versus a Power 5 conference team since the 1961 Gotham Bowl when they lost to Baylor. The Aggies' bowl record is 5-9. They lost the first four, so they're 5-5 since. The Beavers' 18th bowl game, they have an 11-6 record. Like we said, the last time they beat Boise State in a bowl game. Besides the bowl game, this day is a big day for Utah State basketball in this non-conference schedule, which is a terrific schedule, and they haven't been able to play much of it at home against the good teams. They get Iowa in a neutral site game today. This Iowa Hawkeye team, again, started off the year at 7-0. They have one of the best players in the nation on this team in Keegan Murray as far as scoring. They have another really, really good player in Jordan Bohannon who can shoot the basketball, sixth man of the year in the Big 10 last year. They have Keegan Murray's identical twin, Chris Murray, who also plays. They're big, they're strong, and we had a chance to talk to Coach Odom about the game coming up tonight, 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network yesterday.
Yeah, really good team. Obviously, they're coming off a few losses here against other great teams. One was number one in the country at the time, Purdue, and they played Purdue without their best player. One of their best players, certainly. Losing to Illinois, tough loss, obviously, but they won at Virginia in a hard-fought game. They got up big, and then Virginia comes all the way back, and they found a way to escape with that one, which was a great win for their program. So they've either blown teams out or they've been pretty close and had some hard losses within the conference so far. So a team that plays extremely well in transition, one of the best transition teams in the country, a team that rarely turns the ball over. They're number one in the country and not turning the ball over, 8 a game, which is remarkable. And, they can mix up their defenses. They play man-to-man, they press, they play zone, defensive rebound, get back in transition. Obviously guard Bohannon from the three-point line and in, make things as hard as we can for Murray.
Not give Murray easy shots is what the coach said. So those are kind of the challenges. And Justin Bean was not practicing yesterday, but he was standing and listening. I think the hope is they can maybe get him in if the ankle can warm up, work on it another day or two with therapy. Rylan Jones was trying to run through. They didn't do practice full speed, but again, Rylan was doing some of the drills as well as far as this, and hopefully he can play. This Aggie team, you want them at full strength when they play a team like Iowa coming up tonight, 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. And after the game, we should get a report on the game from John Russell. You'll maybe be able to watch both of the games. You can call about both games on our post-game Aggie call coming up as well. So it's football and, of course, the big game with the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, first ever. And the Aggies are the host team in this game, although they're Fighting Whites, which they are 3-0 in this year. So that's a good deal for Utah State to be a part of that. And we'll come back with Game Day as we continue getting into this next hour. We'll bring back the round table that we used to have when we had 2-hour pre-games. Because the Aggies are winning, we're back to 2 hours today. It's Game Day on KVNU. Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
The clock is ticking. Kickoff is 1 hour away. And it's time for KVNU Game Day, sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, Cache Valley Bank Mortgage, Castelite, and LSS Insurance. Now, to break down the game, here's the longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We often hear people say, I wish I could use White Pine, but I've already paid for arrangements elsewhere. Know that if you've already pre-planned with a different funeral home, you can still call White Pine. If you are being told you'll lose up to 25% of your money, White Pine will provide a discount equal to any fee for switching. If you have any questions, please stop by for a visit or give us a call. We would love to meet you and explain in more detail.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
KVNU Game Day returns with a voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
It is hour 2 of our game day of the bowl game, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl with the Aggies and Oregon State. And our second hour with the roundtable coming back, brought to you by Winco Foods, Logan's new supermarket low price leader. You find low prices on every aisle every day. Make sure you check out the great savings on national brands and their own local brands as well. Again, competitive price, and they competitive price check every week. Winco Foods, thanks for joining with us. And it's great to have the guys back. Craig and I have started the show, and so it's always good to bring Craig back. But Ryan Boehm and Eric Franson normally join us after the game. But, guys, we go to 2 hours, so we have a chance to speak a little bit and things. And let's talk about this. I mean, because we didn't expect this. I mean, Eric, we didn't expect the Aggies to have this kind of season.
Oh, no. No, I thought that they would be – I thought they'd have a chance to be bowl eligible. But I thought that there were a few too many question marks about the offensive line and how would these transfers mesh. And I thought that the second half of the season would give them a chance to be bowl eligible, but never would have I guessed that they would be Mountain West Conference champions and in the inaugural LA Bowl.
And, Ryan, they're maybe the most exciting Aggie team we've had in a long time.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. And, yeah, I have to, second Eric's thoughts. I thought 6 wins would be great. That'd be a success for the season.
Some of the experts said 3.5 or wins, things like that.
Yeah, that was way off.
So, but I mean, it's been something. It really has been. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit. What has been the big thing that jumped out to you? Craig, I'll start with you. What's jumped out of this Aggie football team that you didn't expect? Besides wins.
Yeah, but I saw them being. I looked at the quarterback with a little experience they're bringing in here, and I thought, well, they'll win enough to be, like Eric said, bowl eligible. I underestimated the guy in charge. I mean, I talked to him twice on interviews, and I'm talking about Coach Anderson, a guy who came in. The difference to me is the contrast of the mess last year and what he did coming in right away, making people believe in what the process could be and really caring about people in this program. And he's at the center of it, and it all started there.
And then, of course, he deflects to the players. And, Ryan, offensively, much more explosive maybe than we anticipated this Aggie team could be?
Yeah, it starts with your quarterback. We really didn't know what we were going to have at quarterback. We had a glimpse of Peasley, but there was some unsurety there. And so, for Coach Anderson to bring in a quarterback that he trusts for a long time, that's played a lot of ball, and he came out. We still weren't sure the first couple games. They kind of did the back and forth, but he solidified himself as QB1, and he's broke a bunch of records. And you got to tip your hat to the kid that he's played through injuries. He does get hit quite a bit, but he just keeps getting up and slinging it.
Setting records. I want to nominate Andrew Peasley as a little bit of an award. Hey, in those first 2 wins against Washington State and Air Force, he combined to get almost 300 and about 20 yards of offense in those games that we needed very badly in the Washington State game and in the Air Force game. So he came through.
Yeah.
But defensively, the last little bit the defense has started to come on a little bit for this team too, Eric.
Yeah, and that's been one of the fun things to watch this team, how the defense has evolved. And just kind of got a little more dialed in on what Coach Bonda wants. And I think part of this evolution has been with that coaching staff too, understanding how to properly game plan and get players in the right positions. And this team is one of the tops in the country with tackles for loss, getting after opponents and being disruptive. That's been awesome.
In attack all the time is what they're trying to do defensively. Yeah. They don't want to lay back. They're not keeping everything in front of you type defense for sure.
You mentioned Peasley.
Okay.
He came in at the end of the Air Force game. They're down by 11 with about 9 minutes to go, and they get the touchdown. They got the long run by
Tyler had the long run, and then they got the Tompkins 72-yard pass. Yeah,
that's to me when you get to the standout moments besides the Mountain West title game. That to me stood out. I had to look it up to make sure.
I think we're going to talk about standout moments, and Craig brings it up. So to me, hey, the first game of the year, scoring 13 seconds to go to beat Washington State. And the other thing, I don't know why the thing that stands out to me is Colorado State's at the end of the Colorado State game and their team running all over the field like they were. Those things stand out. Besides, domination in the championship game obviously was something. What stands out to you on the season, Ryan?
We did something that we just don't do, which is we're down in the fourth quarter and we come back and win football games. And that's
6 times we almost did that.
It's unbelievable. It shows you the culture shift. It shows you the mentality that this team believes they can win games. And I mean, we were all sitting together watching the Air Force game, and even when it was over, we couldn't believe what had just happened. So, fantastic.
What about your moment, or a moment besides the championship?
Well, I think that the opener, being able to get the first win at a Power 5 school was huge. But Air Force has to be up there too. What Utah State was able to do against the Falcons, very, very, very few teams have ever been able to do in the modern era offensively. But I also think that the San Jose State game stands out to me too. Just that was a complete game all around where Utah State won in every phase of the game against a team that was really good last year and was been pretty good this year, too.
They almost replicated it against San Diego State.
They really did. And they won in every single phase of the game. That was the most complete game of the season besides the title game.
Okay, third-team All-American, Devin Tompkins, player of the year maybe for our team and all. But, hey, and you mentioned Bonner already. Name somebody else who's been a standout to you this year on the Aggie team besides those two.
Well, Justin Rice, I think he really showed out early in the season. I think that he's still making an impact, but he doesn't show up on film as much as he did maybe earlier in the year. But at linebacker position, the transfer has had a phenomenal year, anchoring that defense for USU. It came in as a transfer and early won over the coaches and became the quarterback of the defense, and he's been phenomenal.
Anybody stand out to you, especially besides those two?
Probably Shaq Bond.
Okay.
I mean, he's a little undersized, but the guy's everywhere. He's making tackles all over the place, getting interceptions. Yeah, you need a guy in the back that can, if a running back gets to the second level, you got to have somebody who's willing to sacrifice their body and get somebody on the ground.
Anybody for you, Craig?
I didn't expect of Derek Wright what he did.
Derek Wright was one I had on my list.
I just didn't know if he had that
touchdown maker.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Nick Henniger, he makes plays. You can tell he's a leader of this team and all. So Utah right now, Texas had 3 teams with 34 wins. Utah's second in the nation to have 3 teams with 30 wins. Are we now a football state instead of a basketball state? We've always been. Craig, you've been here forever.
No.
We're still a basketball state?
We're still a state where we've got a basketball court in every church, wherever you go. We also have a year where we've got 3 really good football teams nationally.
And we've got some decent basketball teams going, too, right now, too. But, Ryan, you grew up in this state, and there's not – I'll tell you what, the country is now recruiting Utah high school football players, though, more than they ever have.
Yeah, I'm going to maybe be the contrarian here. I think Utah State, if we can keep Coach Anderson, we're going to continue to win. BYU just locks Sataki down. They're going to continue to win. As long as Whittingham wants to stay at Utah, he can be there, and they win. I mean, there's 3 programs in this state that can compete at the national level, and I think we're all going to go win bowl games. So that's going to show out well.
Are we a basketball state or a football state?
Well, right now it's a football state. I mean, you got 3 teams with 10 or more wins. If Utah State wins today, they're going to be in the top 25, and all 3 of them will be in the top 25. I don't think that's ever happened. But is this a blip on the radar, or is this a trend? And I don't know. But I think that certainly you've pointed out that schools from around the country are coming to recruit high school football
Ohio
players
State took
out
a
of
quarterback
Utah.
from Corner Canyon. So this is what's happening now. I mean, they think Jackson Dart's going to be in the mix for the Heisman next year at USC. That's Utah kids now all over the place. So quick yes or no answer. Does Utah then beat Ohio State in the Rose Bowl?
You can't beat Oregon State, and you're going to go beat Ohio State?
Well, OSU, yeah, I guess.
No.
Okay. Ryan, do they Utes win?
I think so. I think it's going to be akin to that, what is it, the 2008 or 9 Alabama game where Utah has a chip on their shoulder. Ohio State struggled against Michigan. They got dominated up front, and the Utes are big up front.
Utes are good up front.
I think they'll beat them.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Ryan. The Utah style is very similar to Michigan, which Ohio State struggled against. And Kyle Whittingham, he's 11-3 in bowl games. Yeah. This guy knows how to prepare his team for a bowl game.
I think Ohio State's been there before. Utah's never been to the Rose Bowl. I think they get that one done too. So who wins the college football playoff? I'll start with you, Eric. Who wins the championship?
I think it'll be a rematch of the SEC championship, and I think that Georgia figures it out this time, and they get the win over
Their
Alabama.
defense comes forward a little bit better. What do you think? Now, I know, Ryan.
We
don't even need to ask.
I hate it, but you cannot bet against Nick Saban. I thought this year was the year when Georgia looked better than Bama. Bama has looked vulnerable, but when they get in the SEC championship game, they just get out-coached and outclassed and out-everythinged, and Saban will just do that again.
Okay.
The way to keep Alabama from the national championship is don't let them get to the Final Four. Okay. And they've done it. Yeah. So they're in there now. I didn't think they'd be there. They'll win it again.
Okay. I'm going to go with Michigan.
Cincinnati?
Oh.
I think somehow Michigan's on a roll right now for some reason. They've got it and stuff. Let's see. Okay, so here we go today. Craig, we've talked to you and I a little bit about the teams in this game. How do you see what concerns do you have about the Aggies against Oregon State?
Avoiding the repeat of things that have happened a couple of times this year when an organized offense with a really high-level offensive line starts knocking the Aggies a little bit off the line of scrimmage, and it gets a little bit out of hand. I hope that doesn't happen, but they're good at that.
I would think, Eric, you got to stop the Beavers' running game, or at least contain it somewhat. We can't let them dominate.
Yeah, that's my number one thing. Trying to slow down B.J. Baylor. He's averaging 6 yards per carry. 6 yards per carry. It's unreal. He's 23rd in the country. In yards per carry. He's one of the top guys in the country in yards on the season. Yeah. He's had a couple of games where he's gone for 150-plus in the Pac-12. He's a big running back that can make things happen. Of course, that's because of that offensive line, and that's my biggest concern.
Any concerns differently than that in this game, Mr. Bowe?
For me, it's the championship hangover. You know, for 365 days, they talked about one thing, which is go and win the Mountain West, and they did. Mm-hmm. It's easy to then sit back and enjoy it and take pictures and Instagram and Jimmy Kimmel Live and all this other stuff. If we start slow, like we've done in a few games, we might get run over.
Oregon State has given up some yards with their defense, although lately with the coordinator change, looks like they're getting a little bit better there. I think if our offense is not explosive, we'll have a hard time too in getting. We have to get the big plays like we did against San Diego State to open up the game or do that. And the other thing is, Oregon State, they blocked some kicks, but they've also had kicks blocked, and we changed the San Diego State game with some blocked kicks. If we can do something like that, and Savon Scarver needs one kickoff return, although Oregon State usually kicks it out of the end zone. Their kickers mostly touchbacks on the year. So those are some of the things I think that can turn the game. So I'll tell you, I think the Aggies will find the big plays enough to win this game 38-27. I think Utah State wins by 11. That's my guess going into the game. I'll stick with it, but I've thought about it. I'll go that way. Craig, do you have a prediction on the game?
I look at this and I was thinking, I don't know how this isn't a high-scoring game. And every time I say that, it's 28-24, and I'm wrong. I'm a little worried about the Aggies being the winning team. So my score would have been something close to you, maybe even into the 40s, but so Aggies by 40 to 30-something.
See, the Aggies will still win then.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to stick with them, okay? Our long-time, you and I, we've been here 50 years cheering for them and loving them even longer than that. So, okay, so Ryan, your hangover worries, does it still mean they can't win this game?
No, I think Coach Anderson will keep them grounded, and we're going to come out and play well. Utah State 34, Oregon State 24.
So 34-24. You got a wide margin, kind of like I do. I just don't know if Oregon State, if Oregon State can run the ball, keep it away from us, we don't get explosives, then they win like 28-20 or that kind of thing. But I think if we get the explosives, we can get it up in the 30s. And Eric?
I'm not sure either team's really going to break away from each other in this one. I think they'll be close back and forth. In the end, I do have Utah State winning. I like the Aggies in this one, 35-31. I think it's a pretty close contest, and it may come down to something in the fourth quarter, as we've seen Utah State do many, many times this season. But I think it'll be pretty close.
So the Lakers all, again, are saying that it's supposed to be Oregon State by 7, and we're all bucking the odds here in this game. Well, guys, it's always fun to have you guys together, and if the Aggies continue this winning tradition, we may have to go back to 2 hours before the games when we got a lot of attention in football.
Hope so.
That's what we got to keep going. Aggies keep winning, we'll expand the show, okay? So thanks a lot, Eric Franson, Ryan Boehm, Craig Hislop, and we will continue with more here as we continue Game Day on KVNU. Of course, yesterday, Coach Anderson had to, again, apologize for some of his words earlier this week, taking away from the game. But, boy, has this meant something to him this year.
This was a blessing that I wasn't expecting, to be truthful. Didn't know exactly what that next step was going to be. And to me, when this opportunity presented itself, it just, to me, it was just answered prayers.
In his own words, you're going to hear what it really has been like for him the last 2 years. James Stevens, Mark Thurston are at White Pine Funeral Services. They have years of experience caring for families of all walks of life. Expect compassionate care, high integrity, excellent service, beautiful facility, providing families with memorable experiences. White Pine Funeral Services brings you the Game Day coverage on KVNU of the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl coming up here at 5:30 on Channel 4.
Don't wait. Plan your New Year's Eve celebration now. There's no better way to get the night rolling than at the Riverwoods Conference Center's wonderful buffet catered by Elements Restaurant. The night kicks off at 5 p.m. for you early birds. Reservations are being accepted from 5 until 9 p.m. for those that plan to keep the night rocking with appetizers, salads, slow-roasted prime rib, seafood, shrimp cocktail, and decadent dessert. Sure to crave any sweet tooth. Start your New Year's off in style with family and friends at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Call ahead for reservations 750-5151. That's 750-5151.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's fireplace category help you update your home with Napoleon's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Napoleon has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Happy holidays, Cache Valley, from the entire team at Ascent Aesthetics. Ascent Aesthetics is giving back to our local food pantry and giving you a chance to win services for free. Drop off any non-perishable food item at the Providence office and you could win 6 rounds of underarm laser hair removal, a hydrofacial, or a dermaplane facial. Winners will be picked December 30th. Give the perfect gift this year, a treatment from Ascent Aesthetics. Learn more at AscentAesthetics.com. That's AscentAesthetics.com.
For 125 years, SC Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. People from St. George to Rexburg drive to Logan to shop Utah's oldest jewelry store. One major reason is price. When diamonds are compared up and down the Wasatch Front, SC Needham Jewelers is as low or lower than any store in the state. We compete with any 50 to 70% off sales, internet prices, or so-called wholesale prices. Recently voted as #1 jeweler in the Best of Northern Utah. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Talking about Aggie football like no one else can. KVNU Game Day is back.
We're unbelievably proud of this man, what he's gone through. Me and Brandon have known him longer than most guys. He's been through a lot in his life, and we were there for that. And we ultimately been waiting, me, Brandon, and Coach Jay have been waiting for this for 6 years. So we followed him here because we believed him, and it ended up working out. So we're unbelievably proud of him, and we wouldn't want anybody else to be our coach.
There is Logan Bonner, our quarterback, talking about Coach Anderson, 8 yards away from the USU season passing yards record, and he already has the touchdown pass record. He'll have Jordan Love's records if he can do that today, be #1 in one season. BYU just lost to UAB. The Alabama-Birmingham Blazers beat BYU 31-28 in the Independence Bowl. BYU had a pass catch that they ruled a catch and a fumble late in the game. that gave them, took away an opportunity for them to maybe score there late in the game. It was close to being a catch or not, but the review said it was a catch. Aggie fans, our athletic director, John Hartwell, is the man who took me off of the USU games and stopped the local Real radio broadcasts of your team to the most loyal fans, the ones right here in the Valley, the ones who live in Cache Valley and over in the Bear River area and north to Idaho and eastern over into Wyoming. They've missed KVNU's broadcast. But it set up this show. And I have really enjoyed being able to continue to talk about my favorite team and your team as well on this game day. Now, again, Utah State, Coach Athletic Director Hartwell, and that can do what he wants, and they can say what they want about what's happened. But I'll tell you what, his coaching hires have been exactly what we have wanted. I mean, just look at soccer and volleyball even this year at Utah State. And what about basketball? Craig Smith took us to places we'd never been before in basketball. And now he's got Ryan Odom coming in to replace Smith. And like we said, Odom and the Aggies at South Dakota playing Iowa at 8-3 tonight. This football team started September 4th at Pullman, Washington. You know who's on the sidelines watching the game? Ryan Odom.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, number one, I'm just so proud and excited to be an Aggie. What they've been able to do this season, which Coach Anderson, his staff, and the players, most importantly, have been able to do is really remarkable. Coming off of last season and a hard season, and all that they experienced, and to have the success that they're having speaks to the connectivity of their team and staff, first and foremost, their belief in themselves and one another, and their willingness to compete and not have others tell them who they're supposed to be. And that was pretty evident in that first game. There was no give in them. They got down and they kept fighting. I was standing on the sidelines there watching that game and watching the individuals come to the sidelines in between exchanges when the ball was being exchanged, possession changes. And, to see their confidence level continue to rise as the game wore on, and then to be able to make plays at the end, to pull it out. And that's just continued all season. And so it's been really impressive. It's been, fun to watch them play, and it's not over yet. That's the great thing.
Yeah, Ryan Odom, the football fan of the Aggies. Again, he's a coach, though. You can really see he saw what was coming for all of us this season in that very first game. And again, good luck to his team tonight against Iowa in South Dakota. Big Ten Network at 7 o'clock for that game. And we'll talk about that after the game. And the football post-game, we'll have basketball as well as we talk about tonight. Our record setter, Devin Tompkins, 4 catches short of another USU record of 100 catches in a season. He was third-team All-American this week. And he says to be the Mountain West champions, and in the bowl game today, going for victory number 11 to try to tie another record, it didn't happen without that first win of the year against the other Pac-12 team they played this year. As they play Oregon State today and Washington State.
First game of the year against Washington State. Just all the things that we achieved just within that one game, like the amount of history that we've made in that one game and how big that was for us, and monumental. And it set us up for this great season that we have, without that game right there, without, bringing that game all the way down to the wire, and then that catch I had at the end of the game to win the game, that was really special to me because it was just like, I feel like that was just something that we all we all did together, and then me making that catch just helped helped me really believe in my team more than anything, and seeing the way that they reacted once I made that catch, it really showed me that my team really loves me, and I love my team a lot. So that was probably the most memorable moment for me.
DET, one of the many real stars of this 2021 magical year, 6 times in 10 wins, double digits behind, and came back to win. Safety, Hunter Reynolds.
Yeah, no, it's definitely taken some years off all of our lifespan, but we just don't feel pressure. We don't feel, nerves when we get down, and we know that we're such a good second half team because of all the work we put in the offseason. We're just confident in it. We trust it. So, even when we get down, and a lot of times we're down because of self-inflicted mistakes. So we know that, once we clean things up, then that's when we kind of show our true selves.
Reynolds transferred here along with, about 11 others who've been the major parts to join the guys who were 1-5 off of a team last year and a bad football year from start to finish last year. The blend has been exactly what we ordered in our football program, and now 9 of the last 11 years we've been in a bowl. 4 of the last 10, we've won at least 10 games. 6 In the first 11 years of Aggie football, I think we won, that kind of deal in bowl games. So, again, that's amazing. The 10 wins, again, we've never had 10 wins in the first 120 years of Aggie football. Now we expect Utah State Aggie football to win. We struggled and hated last season. Blake Anderson was also so dark, and now he's got a lot of positive light going in his life, and we have loved it as well so much. His words on what this season has meant as he thinks back to where he was and now where he is.
I went through a stretch where going to work every day wasn't much fun. And honestly, just getting out of bed wasn't much fun, to be truthful. I think anybody that's lost their best friend of 28 years and then lose your dad, those are the first two phone calls I made after everything that happened in my life. Every big, every bad, everything. Those were the first two calls. And so I tell people I loved my time in Jonesboro. I'm proud of the job we did there. Not satisfied. I'd love to not have to drag those people through all the things we went through for the last few years. But, we didn't know what the ending line looked like. We were trying to win in football, trying to win against cancer as well. But it did take a toll. And I hit some really dark places in my life. And I'm so grateful that God brought Brittany and the girls into my life, to somebody that understood what it was like to lose as well. Lost her mother just a couple weeks after I lost Wendy. We both clinged to God. We became really close friends. And next thing you know, we fell in love, not by design. But this move here, unexpected as it was, but man, just so refreshing. I needed to be able to move away from so many visible triggers and smells and sights and sounds that just would not let you move beyond that period. And here it's been amazing people, beautiful scenery, phenomenal group of guys to be around every day. And I told them for Thanksgiving, everybody's kind of talking about what they're thankful for. And I broke down in tears and promised that they have no idea how big of a healing part of my life they've been. They really give me the joy of what I've always loved to do, which is coach and be around the sport. And I'd lost that. And this season has been a healing process. I'm beyond thankful for God just bringing us here and creating those opportunities. But every person involved in this room has had a part in that. And there's no bigger joy than to go on a journey with a group of guys against all odds every step of the way and see them just continue to overcome those. And so exceeded every expectation. I've said that a million times. I could not have pictured it to be the ride it's been. And the cool thing is we're really just getting started. So
the players to a man have credited Anderson and this young, diverse, energetic staff with all of the turnaround. And then the coach and the staff gives it right back to the players. Another perfect blend for a championship. Can they beat Oregon State tonight to keep that vibe alive at the end of the season going into next year? The coach is also pretty honest about how this game might go tonight.
And it would not surprise me if it's just like it was when we played Washington State. It's going to be one of those that some of the matchups are going to look ugly early. Those linebackers are going to be flying and chasing early. I'm hoping that we can fatigue them, get to the second and third levels, play, and hopefully things will start looking better for us as the game continues. And so we have to try to slow those guys down. You don't stop them. They're good at what they do.
That's the coach before the game. ChemDry of Northern Utah. They remove allergens out of your carpets. Superior solutions and services to keep your home clean, safe, and healthy with their great cleaning methods they have. It's ChemDry of Northern Utah. Bringing you game day, and we pause for station identification.
News Talk KVNU, Logan, the home for Logan High basketball. 102 FM, 610 AM, and online at kvnutalk.com.
Didn't hear how the Grizzlies did today, but they lost their last two games down in southern Utah, playing against really good teams. They're back home against a really good team in Preston on Wednesday night. We'll have that for you this week on KVNU. Next segment, again, let's talk a little bit about Utah State's defense.
But a lot of these seniors I definitely love playing with, from Cash to Mick to Nick. I think that'll be the most fun I will have on this trip, is just being able to play this last game with these guys.
That's Byron Vaughns, and he will talk to Eric Franson in the next segment of Game Day on KVNU.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Open enrollment for individual health insurance is November 1st through January 15th. Coverage through the marketplace is still available, with more tax credits making it even more affordable. We'll help you navigate the marketplace, understand your plan options, and complete enrollment and save big. Trying it on your own can be frustrating. Let us help. Call 752-9493. There's no cost to work with us. Having a local agent makes all the difference. Call 752-9493.
Steven, stop dragging your feet. Don't you give me that look. You've had a bad attitude all day. Now, look, I know you'd rather be with your friends right now, but this has to be done. And either you start cooperating or I'm going to start taking things away from you. And I think you know what that means, don't you, Steven?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay.
Watch it.
Bigger isn't always better. At Castellite, you'll choose from a huge selection of pavers and receive help from experts. You'll see just how easy it is to do it yourself. For brick, block, rock, paver, and tile, go where the pros go. Online at Castellite.com.
We're talking with Jay from Daryl's Appliance. Jay, when did Daryl's open?
1970. That's over 50 years of experience serving local people.
Can you compete with the box stores?
Absolutely. Our electronic price tags are automatically updated throughout the day, which ensure our prices are the lowest available. Also, we have something they don't: scratch and dent appliances.
Why else should we buy from Daryl's?
Service comes first here. We have our service department that backs your appliance purchase.
Daryl's Appliance, a one-stop appliance shop. Daryl's, Westone Airport Road, open till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 5 on Saturdays.
At Winco, we do everything to save you money with low prices and top quality products throughout the store. Big savings on fresh meat, produce, seafood, and deli. And even bigger savings in our huge bulk item section. At Winco, there's never a membership fee to shop top quality products at low prices.
Now open in Logan at 1341 North Main Street.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Imagine the other team has an ace in their starting lineup. He's fast, relentless, and his field goal percentage is 73%. What's your team's defensive strategy against a player like that? Well, that player is ransomware, and in 2020, 73% of ransomware attackers succeeded in holding their victims' data hostage. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
Just knowing that no one still respects us. We're still an underdog in this game, even coming off a championship. We love the fact that nobody respects us. Nobody respected us at the beginning of the year.
And the Aggies are at 10 wins, looking for 11 championship and all, and they're underdogs again today. What is it they say? Something always has to give. USU's offense, of course, explosive, but so is Oregon State's. But it's on defense where both teams have been a bit more inconsistent. Beavers fired their defense coordinator in early November. But examining this matchup, Oregon State's offensive line, experience, they're good. Their coach, Jim Mahalachek, is a longtime famous offensive line coach. He coached Marshawn Lynch in college. He's had 19 1,000-yard rushers with him as an offensive line coach. He's been at Oakland in the NFL besides at California and Oregon and Arizona and Oregon State. He started at Montana State in his early years. His offensive line has allowed 10 sacks all year, number 2 in the NCAA. Michigan allowed 27 tackles for a loss. The Beavers only 40 in 12 games. Number 2 in the country. USU's defense is all about aggressive attack, chaos, 107 tackles for a loss with 28 sacks. Defensive end Nick Henniger, we got quite a matchup here.
Yeah, obviously their offensive line has done a great job this season. They do not give up a lot of tackles for loss. And we've played a couple teams in similar situations this year who've done a good job at preventing tackles for loss. So that'll definitely be a spot to watch. But our plan and our style is not gonna change drastically, right? We still play aggressive, and we're gonna go out there. And at the end of the day, you can't be hungry for your TFL. You got to be starving, and this team is starving for TFL, starving for a win. And at the end of the day, that's our plan, and we're gonna go out there and starve for a win.
And also on our white uniforms today, number 3, inside linebacker Justin Rice. He has added so much from game 1 to be our defensive playmaker, 115 tackles on the year, 13.5 tackles for a loss. And the offensive coordinator, like Brian Lindgren with the Beavers, always knows where he is.
He seems like a really smart player. I mean, there's some plays that he's made throughout the year. It seems like he just has a good sense of where the ball is going to be or what the quarterback's trying to do. and he seems like he's always getting himself in a good position to make plays. But he's a really talented player, man, and yeah, he's fun to watch. It does a lot of good things for him.
Oregon State's best linebacker, Avery Roberts, not playing in this game because he's had a minor surgery after the end of the season. I asked Justin Rice, though, about the plan against Oregon State's offensive line.
Yeah, we just got to play our game, and we're very aggressive in our blitz schemes. We're very aggressive when we tell our D-line to go eat on a pass down. So they're a very experienced unit. They're very good. They're very athletic. And as long as we play our game, I think we'll be just fine with our pressures and how we play.
How much do you guys come into this game off of how you played against San Diego State? Mentally, physically, defensively, you guys had a terrific game. Can you keep that going after waiting a week?
Yeah, that game gave us a tremendous amount of confidence. I think that's just been happening throughout the whole season, just gaining more confidence, more trust in each other, and, just playing better ball as the season went on. So I definitely think we're going to carry that into Oregon State this week.
From the first game till now, what's been the biggest improvement of the defense, do you think? Justin, we look at it.
I think just trusting the scheme. A bunch of guys have played in a bunch of different schemes, a bunch of different coaches, and just trying to find that trust for that scheme and the coaches telling you what to do is probably the hardest thing to do. And not only to trust the coaches, but to trust your players. When you know that you're supposed to be outside leverage and you jump inside and give up the edge, then there's not a lot of trust building. But when you're setting edges and people know that you're going to set edges, they can take better angles and, get to guys quicker because they know that that edge is going to be set, or they're going to have help over the top, so they can play a lot more aggressive in certain situations. So definitely trust just everything within that, coaches, players, scheme. The longer you're in it and the longer you're building a bond together, the better you get.
Justin Rice leads our S.C. Needham Jewelers starting lineup, the state's oldest jewelry store where Utah gets engaged. Rice, A.J. Von Pachong, inside linebackers, the striker Cash Gilliam up front, Hale Motuapawaka and Marcus Morris, one of the Jimmy Kimmel Show stars. At defensive tackle, Nick Henniger and Byron Vaughn's coming up here in just a moment, the defensive ends. On the corners, Michael Anyanwu and Cam Lampkin, and then Hunter Reynolds and Shaq Bonnet, safety. On the offensive line, outside, well, let's start on the outside. We'll go with Justin McGriff outside, Devin Tompkins inside, Brandon Bowling kind of inside, Derek Wright outside as far as receivers. Carson Terrell, who's in there as the tight end. Cole Motes and Alfred Edwards, his third start in a bowl game at left tackle for the Aggies. And Dimitri Aliafua, Quazell White are the guards, and Chandler Dolphin the center. And, of course, it's Logan Bonner at quarterback and Calvin Tyler at running back, the starting lineup. And now, as promised, again, we have Eric Franson talking to our man who was the MVP of the championship game in the Mountain West Conference on defense. He had 5 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and a sack. We're talking about Byron Vaughn's.
Great performance in the title game. Really came out and showed out at the end of the regular season. Is that just how things are going to keep going this week, getting ready for Oregon State?
That's the plan, As a defense, that's the plan to come out and dominate as we did in the championship game, the same way in the bowl game.
What's been the difference for you? I mean, season started off, I know you had some injury stuff you're kind of coming back from, but as the season progressed, not only did you get better and more impactful in the game, but that defense overall seemed to get better and better as the season went on.
Yes, that's one big thing I had to say. Injuries can definitely hurt a defense and show you the weak points, but now we got everybody back healthy. But, football is a man sport, so you're never going to play 100%.
Yeah, that's true. So what have practices been like getting ready for Oregon State? What do you see out of the Beavers?
We see a great football team, a great O-line out there, up for some award for the best O-line, if I'm not mistaken, in NCAA football. So we have to respect our opponent, the O-line. We know they love to run stretch and divide zone, so that's something we like to play our defense against, is stretch and divide zone.
So is it going to be, you feel like it's going to be harder to get to their quarterback because that offensive line is so big in experience, or based on what you see them doing, you think you may have some opportunities there?
Well, if you go back to a lot of our games this season, we were expected to get dominated up front. So we're not really worried about nothing else but whooping them up front. We're not worried about what championships or what awards they're about to win. We're there to play football.
Does their offensive line remind you of anybody else that you faced this year?
Washington State, Pac-12.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You guys got some things done against them.
We can say that. We can say that.
I know there's with a bowl game there can be a lot of distractions, and just the announcement of it and all the things that are going on, and just kind of still trying to stay grounded in preparation for you still got a game to play.
Yes, sir. That's what Coach Anderson did. Take his time and effort to put us right next to the airport, which is next to nothing to have fun with. It's only concrete that surrounds us probably for the next 5 miles. So Coach Anderson put us in a good situation to make sure we don't get in any trouble, and if we do go down to the beach, we have a way back.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
Are you very familiar with Jimmy Kimmel? Do you ever watch him at night?
I don't, unfortunately. I don't watch him.
It's okay. How do you feel about your chances coming into this one against Oregon State, a Pac-12 team that's – look, this has been a team that's had a lot of problems over the years. They're excited to be where they're at, kind of like where USU. You guys have had a down year, but you're back in the bowl situation. Good.
We're not really worried about, like I said, the big names or the bowl game. We're just going down there. It's another team. That's how I look at it. It's another team. They bleed the same way we bleed. They sleep the same way we sleep. If you find a man on that field that's swimming in the ocean for 10 hours straight and coming back playing football, I need to talk to him. Right now, they do the same thing we do. So we're just going to go out there. We're going to use our strengths against their weaknesses. We're going to have one hell of a game.
All right, well, best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Byron Vaughn's with our Eric Franson. Eric joining with me after the game with Ryan Boehm. So UAB 31, BYU 28 in the Independence Bowl. That's final. Fresno State 31, UTEP 24. That's final. And Western Kentucky 59, Appalachian State 38 in their bowl game today. Liberty is leading Eastern Michigan 19-10. And Deion Sanders' team, Jackson State, lost that championship for the Black Colleges Championship they had today in the Celebration Bowl. They lost to South Carolina State today in that bowl game. A couple of score updates for you. And again, the Aggie basketball game is at 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network tonight at South Dakota against Iowa. And this game, Channel 4, 5:30. And next, we're going to talk about the Aggie explosive offense. It's got to be explosive one more time as we continue game day on KVNU.
Never in my mind committing to that school where I thought I would ever leave. I was raised to get the job done until it's done.
But Logan Bonner came to Utah State and has set records. We'll talk about that next on Game Day.
Experts tell us that the 3 areas of balance for proper health are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. This is Ryan, owner of My Mattress. And while My Mattress store can't really help with exercise and nutrition, we can help with better sleep. If a person started today to live a balanced life in health, exercise, and sleep, 3 things might happen. 1, we might throw away the bag of peanut M&Ms that we have stashed. 2, we might get up off the couch and exercise. And 3, we'd come buy a new mattress here at My Mattress.
Do you need a gift idea for someone special or yourself? How does $100 of free Botox sound? Cache Valley Endocrine and Family Medicine is certified in cosmetic Botox procedures. They're offering $100 of free Botox when you purchase a $500 gift card for cosmetic Botox. Cache Valley Endocrine and Family Medicine provides comfortable in-office services. They'll also come to your home for up to 5 people. Purchase your gift card at 2150 North Main, Suite 10 in North Logan. Call to schedule your Botox appointment today.
The holidays bring family, friends, and parties and more. How important is it to you to know that your house is sparkling clean this holiday season? Trust ChemDry of Northern Utah's hot carbonating extraction process to ensure your home is the cleanest, healthiest environment for your family gatherings this season. From carpets to hardwood floors to furniture and even granite countertops for baking. This is Darryl with ChemDry of Northern Utah. Holiday gift certificates are now available, and mention this ad for a free ChemDry world famous spot cleaner.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
KVNU Game Day returns with a voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis.
You work too hard for all year round for 12 or 13 to 14 opportunities. We literally work every day for those 14 opportunities. Only 12 are guaranteed. So, yeah, you want to win every game.
What was it? Ryan Bowman, our roundtable, pointed out that we all know that tonight the number one goal for the Aggies was win the Mountain West title, and nobody would have thought that would happen before the season started except for these players and coaches. But now it's been accomplished, and now is the Mountain West Championship choice. You're in a bowl game automatically, and for years a bowl game was such a huge goal. In fact, what was it, 46, 47, then we waited 13 years to play 60, 61, and then 32 years to play in 93. Then it was 14 years after 97 to get back to 2011, now 9 of the last 11 years. So bowl games are, again, a little more likely now. So not as much of a motivator just to get into a bowl game. But this is the first Jimmy Kimmel, I keep having a tough time with that, Jimmy Kimmel L.A. Bowl tonight, and Coach Blake Anderson says,
win or lose, they've done a phenomenal job of setting us on a great path for the future, and really, the first Mountain West Conference championship, all the things that come with that. This game only just adds icing to the cake. Nothing's going to tarnish their legacy that they have left. But I want it for them, and I can feel the energy in the building. They want it as well, and we're going to go try to play our best ball on Saturday. And I think that may be the coolest thing about how the season's progressed. We needed to play that last Saturday at San Diego, and we did. And this would be a great just kind of grow from that, carry the momentum for that, and go out and play even better. And I think it's going to take that kind of effort to get a win.
That was Coach Monday before they left to go to Los Angeles. Still, yeah, that bowl title belt adds to a lot for the players to try to get something that nobody else has got before. 2021, we didn't see it coming like this, but as we said, the players believed and they achieved. The coaches planned and they saw the execution scene. Even remember offensive coordinator Anthony Tucker, before the season, when I asked him if they had any weapons on the offense, he said,
I feel the way that this program was built with what they've done offensively, within the last 3-4 years, I don't feel like we're too far off personnel-wise. I think there's some pieces in the skill position and even in the O-line that fit what we're doing. So you just want to continue to add to that.
Then you add in Bonner to that. But the number one weapon, Devin Tompkins, third-team All-American, 96 grabs, over 1,500 yards. Remember, he wanted to stay, but he stayed with Coach Tuck and with Coach Anderson.
Buying into the program, buying into the offense and learning the offense, and then being able to take my skill set that I have and implement it into being able to execute the offense at a high level. And, I got a great quarterback. I got a great team that surrounds me, a great offensive staff. And that's really been the biggest thing to my success, just learning to be more of a student of the game and being coachable and just wanting to learn more about the game and how to play it. So.
Yeah, Trent Bray is now the new defensive coordinator for Oregon State. He was interim the last 3 games. And he, of course, really is for sure having to try to contain a USU receiver group that has 3 guys with 9 touchdown catches and 55 offensive plays for the year, Coach.
Keep changing the picture for them, not let them know and sit in one coverage and sit in one way to play them. They got talented receivers across the board, so there's nothing like just focus on one guy. I think that would be a mistake. You got to have different ways. We have different ways of covering certain guys, certain positions on the field, and just continuing to change that picture of arm.
And how about Oregon State's defense, DT, Devin Tompkins, on how they're going to cover him? And, of course, we're talking about Derek Wright and Brandon Bowling and Justin McGriff, too.
They're long. They like to grab. They like to, in the secondary, they like to put hands on, so they like to play man coverage. So as long as we can beat man coverage and, win our one-on-one matchups outside, I think we'll be fine all day.
And then you need to have offensive line protection and then receivers to make going into the game for a quarterback a good game. Beavers coach Jonathan Smith was a quarterback, as we said, the Fiesta Bowl quarterback star for a Notre Dame win for Oregon State back in his day. And he has and is still developing his quarterback, a guy named Chase Nolan. He has been number 2 in the Pac-12 this year with the quarterback passer rating.
Big jump, really big jump, especially last year getting some starts compared to what he's played this year. Been efficient, understands the scheme. I think he's allowed his talent to take over sometimes now that he's comfortable in the scheme. He's still got some things he's got to improve on, and we're counting on the same type of jump this year to next.
Chance Nolan, the quarterback for Oregon State. Logan Bonner, our quarterback, as we said, he needs 8 yards for a USU single-season record. Again, it was tough transferring here, but when he got the chance, he took it and ran.
And then when I knew my time was ready, I was going to show him that I was here to win a championship and did whatever it needed to do to win a championship and do everything I needed to do on my end to help us win. And so I think that it eventually played out. And that's what I've been waiting for all year. It was a special moment with me and Coach Anderson. We shared some words that I'll keep between me and him, that we've been through a lot. And it was just really emotional for that aspect. And nobody deserves it more than him and this coaching staff and the players on this team that were here before me and the guys that transferred. So everybody in this organization deserves everything that we've gotten, and we're looking forward to the next one.
That again, Logan Bonner, the Aggie quarterback right there. And I mentioned he's from Rowlett, Texas, and Kent Myers was a quarterback from that same spot, MVP in the New Mexico Bowl 2014. And we mentioned that to Logan earlier this year. He says, I know Kent. I played actually against him. So I wondered if Kent Myers has reached out to congratulate him on the year or to talk about the year.
Yeah, we talk a lot. Me and Kent grew up together. He's a little older than me. We played against each other in high school. I was a little baby, 15-year-old kid when he was a senior. But we played against each other. He whooped me for sure in that game. But he's a great dude. We talk a lot. We talk 3 or 4 times a month. He was just congratulating me. And he just said he was really proud of me and he was really happy for the school and all that stuff like that. So he's a good dude. A lot of people reached out. And so I think that it was really important for me to try to continue his legacy. Coach Keaton, Kent, Jordan, all those guys established here, and I'm just trying to keep it going.
Logan Bonner has got into that quarterback room with those other guys because he is a downright leader by the way he does things and the way he acts.
You know, Logan's not a real vocal guy. He'll speak when he needs to, but what he does is the guy just keeps getting up. And I think when you watch a guy sacrifice his body like he does, and I mean, he's duct taped together right now, and every part of him is black and blue. They've seen him play. His entire thigh was super, dark purple and twice the size of the other one. They've seen his elbow. He just comes to work every day and has earned the respect of the team, and it's hard to not to play hard for that guy. Say what he needs to occasionally, but that's really not who he is. He just shows up and works every day, and I think it has been hard to. It's hard to be working right next to a dude that's pieced together with, pieces of whatever, baling wire that tell him it's hard not to play hard for that guy.
And the team has, and again, Bonner has been that leader there. The coach there, brought to you by My Mattress before the game. Sleep better. They specialize in quality mattress sets, also adjustable bases, pillows, and sheets, and mattress accessories at My Mattress, down by the South Walmart. Again, the coach did after, again, the announcement of that story came out this week about the sexual lawsuit, a lawsuit the girl has filed against Utah State. Some recordings came out. The coach had some comments in there. And again, yesterday he said, I regret the words I use. I apologize to anyone who has bravely come forward with allegations of wrongdoing. We have to do everything we can to encourage and protect anyone who has been the victim of wrong and whose personal rights have been violated. Again, anyone who knows me knows how strongly I feel about this. Giving victims a safe platform to address wrongs they've suffered is always the right thing to do. So the coach apologized for those things that did come out in that recording. And again, after he listened to it, he wanted to make sure he said that as well. A few other notes on this game. Have you noticed the colors on Ephraim Banda, the Utah State defensive coordinator? He's got the colors on his wristbands, colors on his fingernails. I wondered if he's got special colors to call the defensive plays or what's going on there, Coach?
No, it's they always tell me they can't see me. So I'm always trying to find a way to be a little more, pop out a little bit more. Not the tallest guy in the world, so trying to help that far side corner. But no, I mean, in the day and age of just tempo, which this team is not, but and they do a good job and find ways of doing it through their different huddling. But the day and age of tempo and all that, the ball moving so much, guys moving so fast, you got to be able to move and be seen quickly. You got to get calls in fast. So that's really what that's about.
So Banda trying to call the plays to beat a really balanced Oregon State defense. Their defense has gotten better since they've changed coordinators. Aggie's defense has gotten better as the year's gone on for Banda to get more and more aggressive and get more into their game. I think everybody feels comfortable that way. And the Aggie offense has got to be able to run the ball enough to take the pressure off the passing game and still be explosive with the passing game to get things done. I kind of feel that that's kind of the way this one needs to happen. We mentioned the Aggies are in white, which they beat North Dakota in, beat San Jose State in, and beat South Dakota State, San Diego State. They've won all 3 games where they have worn the white uniforms and not wearing black, not wearing blue. They're wearing white. Remember, on the road this year, 7-0 was a record for Utah State for the season they've had. So Again, it's been a year, and now they get a chance to be in this bowl game, the first ever Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stiefel. The game is on Channel 4 here at 5:30. Watch it. The basketball game is on Big Ten Network at 7. Flip back and forth. We'll talk about both on our postgame. Eric Franson, Ryan Bohm. We're hoping John Russell might even join us and talk a little bit about the basketball postgame. We'd love your comments, your texts, your phone calls postgame as well. That'll do it for our 2-hour preview. Letting you know more about this team, about the Oregon State team. We've just loved this season of Aggie football. It has been so enjoyable to talk about this great Aggie group. All right, coming up next, we will continue with the news here on KVNU and back to Kim Commando. Have the rest of a good Saturday night watching the Aggie game and call us right after the game.